All right, let's talk Caleb Williams and the 3-2 Chicago Bears, the Bears that have not lost since week 2. How about that? Some interesting stuff, some good, some bad, some in between. We're going to talk about it all here. This is strictly about Caleb Williams and how he played in this game. There was some bad. In fact, we could even start off with that. This play is a one-on-one matchup down the field. Rome Odunze, who's just been awesome for this Bears team. He's going to be in motion and then run a go route, that's that Ben Johnson wrinkle, right? Of rarely do you see a guy who's running a go route on the outside start off the play in motion. However, Caleb Williams takes the snap. Blitz picked up nicely, too. Give shout out to the running back for picking up that blitz. This is open. I mean, it's far down the field. It's not so far down the field that Williams can't make the throw there. He was standing at his own 23. We've seen him throw the ball, further than where he's going to throw this one. This is just, watch. It's a bit behind. Had a real chance at a big completion there. Again, it's not the easiest throw in the world or anything, and he did give his receiver a chance at the very least, better, as opposed to if you overthrew it. But I'm sure, one he would like to have back. There were a couple of these. Like this one's another one. It's a one-on-one matchup on the outside right here, and the timing might just be a little bit off. Watch as, his receiver does make contact, but I still think that's a bit of an off throw regardless. Ultimately had an opportunity to set up a 3rd and medium. Instead, it's going to be a 2nd down and 10. So, some missed throws here from Williams. That certainly happened. There were also some really good plays. In fact, one that I thought was fantastic. It's this one, which goes completely overlooked a lot of times when you're watching it live because it just looks like a simple completion, but it's a lot more than that. So you have Rome Odunze trying to get into a gap in coverage, kind of, past that middle of the field area. Cool. Makes sense. Williams takes a snap, and this is live. I'm like, this is a pick. That's what I thought when I saw this play live. Because you see Frankie Louvu has completely taken away the passing lane. He's there. Williams is trying to throw this football. Like, this isn't a pump fake. He's trying to throw this football. This could be a pick 6, and he just, watch. He notices it last second, pulls back, and then throws a little bit later, and it ends up being a 1st down instead. That's just great awareness from Caleb Williams. These are the types of plays we saw in college, right? And it's not the type of play we saw last year. So seeing him be able to do something like that, really, I mean, that's an impressive play. That's something that you see Patrick Mahomes do, and then Chris Collinsworth goes, oh my God, what an amazing play. And then everyone makes fun of him because it doesn't look that amazing. But these are amazing plays. It's a great play. It's a great play from Williams. Also, I like how Williams is using his legs here. So for one thing, Ben Johnson's kind of getting him out more. You see right here, it's a designed rollout towards the bottom of the screen. Williams takes a snap. It's 3rd and 3 too. That should matter. He looks down the field, and again, he has passing options here, but one of the options is to run. And when you're this open, Williams just going to say, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and try and prove I'm a pocket passer or whatever. If I have a window, I'm going to take it. And I love this quick decision from Williams. It feels like a lot of quarterbacks are kind of programmed to only run if if a play breaks down. But it's an option. Running is an option. So if it's the best option, well, don't wait around for it. Take the option quickly, because then you're going to get a 1st down. And that's exactly what he was able to do on that play. Also, this one, it's going to be it's not just scrambles that he can be successful at. Ben Johnson designing some quarterback runs, which I think is interesting. It's not something you see, not something I think a lot of people saw coming. And it's certainly not something that Ben Johnson, it's not a thing he could do in Detroit. Jared Goff, very good game manager, but just not a runner, right? But as you see, watch this play work. Now, it barely worked, but ultimately it does work, and it would have worked better if Swift made that block a little bit better. But ultimately, they're still able to get a touchdown on that play. So, again, that's a little interesting thing from Ben Johnson. In fact, going over here, in general, I think it's interesting because we all said, okay, who's going to win the divorce between Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell? It turns out maybe they're just both smart. Maybe that's the answer. Because I do think this Ben Johnson hire has worked so far for the Bears. And a play like this is a perfect example. So you have that route going more over the middle, right? That's a little bit more underneath. Watch as when Caleb Williams takes a snap, he's going to look right here, and you see Washington's communicating here, right? They're saying, hey, make sure you cover that guy. That guy is the one that we want to make sure that we get. Okay, sure. Totally understand why. You're lined up on the top of the screen. You have to cross a lot of bodies to get over there, so get someone else to cover him. Here's the issue. No one ends up picking up Odunze. He gets wide open, gets a big gain. I mean, it's a huge pickup for the Bears. Now, what are a lot of people going to say when they see this? Well, that's not really good offense, right? That's bad defense. That's the team, you're playing making a mistake and you capitalizing, which is still a part of good offense, but that's not like a great play. But again, with Ben Johnson, when he's constantly doing this, when it's play after play, you have to communicate. You have to figure out who's covering who. You have to make these things work. Mistakes are going to happen, and so it can be both. And also, let's head over here. Let's give DeAndre Swift a shout out. Why don't we? He had a nice day in this one. And again, I am kind of the belief when it comes to rushing, like a big part of it is going to be blocking as opposed to the running backs themselves. But part of it is the running backs, and also, hey, DeAndre Swift was their leading receiver, mostly due to this play. It's a man coverage concept across the board, and I just gotta say this. The Commanders screw something up here. I don't know what they do exactly wrong here, but watch how they have a couple players just sort of standing around doing nothing. I'm not sure if I'm not quite exactly sure what was happening there. Also, nobody picks up Swift, so that's definitely not ideal. In fact, the two players kind of near him were both covering other guys on the play and just happen to now be near him. But then also watch Swift. Watch him break a key tackle there, and because of the blitz, now he's off to the races, and it's a 55-yard touchdown. So, again, take advantage of your opponent's mistakes. The Commanders don't play defense great, but you know what? You got to capitalize, and that's exactly what the Bears were able to do on these types of plays and what they were able to do on this play. And also, I just thought, again, Ben Johnson, DeAndre Swift, the Bears just made plays, too, down the field. And again, I know that overall, this game kind of came down to they needed a fumble at the end to win it, and part of that was because I thought Daniels played very well on the other end outside of his 2 turnovers. But still, there were plays like this. It's a one-on-one matchup down the field. This isn't anything too Ben Johnson-y. This is just trying to have a player make a play. Watch as when Williams takes the snap, it's going to be Luther Burden III, who is a player a lot of people really liked coming out of the draft. He ended up getting selected 34th overall. Maybe hasn't shot onto the scenes right away, but ultimately, has had a couple of moments where he's had big plays. You see he's open here. Williams able to make the throw. They're able to get that big completion. Does some nice work after the catch as well. Honestly, probably Williams' best throw was one that didn't count. It's this play where it's Rome Odunze trying to get into the corner of the end zone on a 3rd down and 6 right here. The Commanders are going to send pressure. They're going to try and force Williams to have to just put the ball up and see if a receiver can make a play. And watch this play from Williams and Odunze. That is high-level stuff by those two guys. Play gets called back due to a illegal procedure penalty. Tackle was lined up too far back. To me, he was too far back. I know people don't love that call, but especially, and I know what people are going to say, call it on Jawan Taylor then. Well, I agree. They should call it on other guys more consistently too. Tackle was too far back in my opinion. Whether you think it's ticky-tacky or not, don't put the official in a position where they can call it. Make sure you line up properly. But ultimately, doesn't take away from the great, it literally did take away from the great throw because it didn't count, but doesn't take away from the talent that was on display on that play. So yeah, again, the Bears needed a little bit of the Commanders beating themselves at the end to pull off the victory. But at the same time, I think the Commanders are pretty good. So, if you're playing that close and you're one break away from beating them, they play the Saints next week. I don't know. I think this is reason to get excited if you are a Chicago Bears fan. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.